Imagine speaking English so effortlessly that words flow naturally, without pausing, translating, or hesitating. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to achieve together today. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Elevate with Madney. I hope you're all doing well and are as excited as I am to dive into today's lesson. If you've ever dreamed of speaking English fluently, confidently, and naturally, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to teach you how to think in English, a game-changing skill that will transform the way you speak. We've all experienced the frustration of stopping mid-conversation to translate from our native language, only to feel less confident and make mistakes. But what if you could skip the translation process entirely and think directly in English? The good news? It's absolutely possible. By following 4 simple yet powerful stages, you can train your brain to think in English and unlock a new level of fluency. Before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Elevate with Madney. This way, you'll never miss a lesson designed to help you speak English with ease and confidence. Now, let's dive into today's lesson, how to think in English. Stage 1, think in verbs, the power of action words. The first step in thinking in English is to focus on verbs, the action words that describe what's happening around you. Why start with verbs? Because action is everywhere, and by identifying it in English, you'll begin forming sentences in your mind more naturally. Let's take an example. Imagine you're strolling through Central Park in New York City. You see people jogging, couples chatting, a dog chasing a ball, and someone feeding pigeons. These actions, run, talk, chase, feed, are all verbs. This practice isn't limited to bustling cities. Whether you're waiting at a bus stop in London, sitting in a cafe in Paris, or walking through a quiet park, there are always actions to observe. Even at home, you can practice by imagining scenarios or looking at pictures. For instance, if you see a photo of a family picnic, what actions come to mind? Eating, playing, laughing, these are all verbs you can think about in English. Pro tip: dedicate 5 to 10 minutes daily to observing and naming actions in English. Over time, this will train your brain to think in verbs effortlessly. Stage 2, think in nouns, naming the world around you. Once you're comfortable with verbs, it's time to focus on nouns, the words that name people, places, things, and ideas. Nouns are everywhere, and by naming them in English, you'll build a strong foundation for forming sentences. Let's say you're visiting the Sydney Opera House. As you look around, you see the iconic building, the harbor, tourists, a boat, and seagulls. Each of these, building, harbor, tourists, boat, seagulls, is a noun. This practice works anywhere. At a market in Delhi, you might see fruits, vegetables, spices, and vendors. At home, you can name objects like a table, chair, or laptop. Pro tip: spend a few minutes each day naming objects and people around you in English. This will help you think in nouns naturally and expand your vocabulary. Stage 3, think in sentences, connecting verbs and nouns. Now that you're comfortable with verbs and nouns, it's time to combine them into sentences. Start simple, focus on short, clear sentences that describe what you see. For example, if you're in Cape Town, South Africa, looking at Table Mountain, you might say, tourists are climbing the mountain. The sun is shining brightly. The wind is blowing gently. Or, if you're in a park in Toronto, Canada, you could describe the scene like this. A family is enjoying a picnic. Children are playing with a ball. Birds are flying overhead. As you gain confidence, you can create longer, more detailed sentences. Pro tip: set aside 10 to 15 minutes daily to describe your surroundings in full sentences. This will help you think in English more fluidly. Stage 4. Think in paragraphs, bringing it all together. The final stage is to think in paragraphs, describing scenes in detail and telling a complete story. This is where your fluency truly shines. Imagine you're standing on the Great Wall of China. Here's how you might describe it in a paragraph. I'm standing on the Great Wall, and the view is breathtaking. The mountains stretch endlessly, and the wall winds gracefully across the landscape. Tourists are everywhere, some taking photos, others marveling at the history. I can hear a mix of languages and feel a cool breeze brushing against my face. The ancient stone steps beneath my feet tell stories of centuries past. By practicing this, you'll train your brain to think in English continuously and vividly. Pro tip: at the end of each day, describe your experiences in a paragraph. Start from the moment you woke up and recount everything you did. This will reinforce your ability to think in English effortlessly. Conclusion: thinking in English is a skill that takes practice, but by following these 4 stages, verbs, nouns, sentences, and paragraphs, you'll see incredible progress. Remember, consistency is key. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Thank you for joining today's lesson. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elevate with Madney for more tips and lessons. Until next time, happy learning.